10 easy workouts to fight muscle loss after 70. Let me tell you something important. Getting older does not mean you have to get weaker. I have seen too many good folks let their muscles fade away just because they think that is how life goes. But it does not have to be that way. I have been there myself. Feeling my strength slip. Struggling to lift things that once felt light. Worrying about falling. That was when I realized I had two choices. Sit back and let time take its toll, or fight back with everything I had. And let me tell you, fighting back feels a whole lot better. Muscle loss after 70 is real. It sneaks up on you. One day you are carrying groceries with ease. The next, you are struggling with a simple bag of flour. The good news is you can fight back. You do not need a fancy gym. You do not need expensive equipment. You just need a little time, a little effort, and a little bit of stubbornness to say, "No, I am not going to let this happen. I am going to keep my strength. I am going to stay independent. And I am going to live my life on my own terms." I remember when I first started, my knees ached. My back was stiff. And I thought, maybe I am too old for this. But I kept going. And you know what happened. My body started waking up again. I felt stronger. I could get out of my chair without using my hands. I could carry my grandkids without worrying about dropping them. And I felt alive again. That is why I am telling you this. Because if I can do it, so can you. The first thing you need to do is stand up more often. Sitting too much is the enemy. Every hour. Stand up and sit back down 10 times. It sounds simple, but it keeps your legs strong. If you do nothing else, do this. Because the ability to stand up on your own is the key to staying independent. I have seen too many people lose that ability, and suddenly they need help for everything. Do not let that happen to you. Another thing that makes a huge difference is walking. Not a slow shuffle, but a real walk. Swing your arms. Take bigger steps. Feel your feet push off the ground with strength. Even 10 minutes a day can make a difference. When I first started, I could barely make it around the block. Now I take the long way home just because I can. Walking keeps your legs strong, your heart healthy, and your mind sharp. Then there is the wall push-up. You do not need to get on the floor. Just stand a few feet away from a wall. Place your hands on it, and push yourself in and out. This keeps your arms strong, makes opening jars easier, and helps you catch yourself if you ever lose your balance. I used to struggle with lifting things, but now, I can hold my own just fine. Lifting something, anything, is also key. Grab a couple of soup cans, a pair of water bottles, or anything with a little weight to it. Curl them up and down 10 times. Do this every day. It will keep your arms from turning into noodles. I used to think my grip strength did not matter, until the day I could not twist open a jar of pickles. Now I make sure my hands stay strong. Another thing that changed my life was balancing on one foot. Hold onto a chair if you need to, but try to stand on one foot for 10 seconds. Then switch. Balance is everything. It keeps you from falling. Falling is what puts people in hospitals. And I do not plan on going there anytime soon. One of my favorites is leg lifts. Sit in a chair. Straighten one leg out and hold it for 5 seconds. Then switch. This keeps your thighs strong, makes stairs easier, and helps you get in and out of cars without struggling. I used to dread getting into my truck. Now I do it without even thinking. Another simple but powerful move is squeezing your shoulder blades together. Just pull them back like you are trying to hold a pencil between them. This fixes your posture, keeps your back strong, and makes you look and feel more confident. I spent too many years hunched over. But now, I walk tall. Stretching your ankles is another small thing that makes a big difference. Just roll them around. Flex them up and down. This keeps your steps steady and prevents stumbles. I never used to think about my ankles, until the day I tripped over nothing and almost hit the ground. One thing that really surprised me was how important it is to get up and down from the floor. I know it sounds crazy, but if you can get down and back up, you are doing something right. Start by sitting on a sturdy chair. Then lower yourself onto the floor slowly. Use your hands if you need to. Then push yourself back up. It might be tough at first, but keep at it. Being able to get up from the floor is one of the strongest signs that you are still in control of your body. The last thing I will tell you is to never stop moving. Dance in your kitchen. Stretch your arms overhead. Reach for things instead of asking someone else to get them for you. Every little movement adds up. I used to think rest was the key to feeling good. But now I know movement is what keeps you alive. I have been around long enough to know that life does not wait for anyone. If you let yourself get weak, the world does not slow down to help you. But if you take charge, if you fight for your strength, life feels a whole lot better. I am not saying it is always easy. Some days, your body will protest. Some days, you will feel tired. But let me tell you something. Nothing feels better than being able to take care of yourself. You do not need to be a bodybuilder. You just need to be strong enough to live your life without limits. I have seen too many people give up before they even try. Do not be one of them. Start today. Stand up. Walk a little. Lift something. Balance on one foot. Do whatever you can. Because every small effort adds up. And before you know it, you will feel stronger than you ever thought possible. Now, let's clear some common questions. What are the biggest challenges older adults face when trying to build or maintain muscle? Let me tell you something. Building or maintaining muscle after a certain age is not easy. I know that firsthand. It is a battle. A daily fight against time. Against pain. Against the little voice in your head telling you to take it easy. When I was younger, staying strong was simple. I worked. I moved. I did not have to think about it. But now it takes effort. And not just physical effort. Mental effort. The kind that makes you push through even when everything in your body tells you to stop. One of the biggest challenges is that your body just does not respond the way it used to. When I was younger, I could lift something heavy, and within days, I would feel stronger. But now, it takes longer. The muscle comes back slowly. And that can be frustrating. You put in the work, and at first, it feels like nothing is happening. But let me tell you something. It is happening. Even if you cannot see it right away. Every step you take. Every weight you lift. Every time you choose to move instead of sit. It is making a difference. But patience is hard. I know. I have been there. Then there is the pain. The stiffness. The joints that do not want to cooperate. I wake up some mornings, and my knees feel like they belong to someone else. My back reminds me of every heavy thing I ever lifted in my youth. And let's be honest. It is tempting to just avoid movement altogether. To tell yourself that rest is what you need. But I have learned the hard way that too much rest is the enemy. The less you move, the harder it gets. And before you know it, simple things like standing up, walking, or carrying groceries feel impossible. So even when it hurts, even when my body protests, I move. Because I know that moving now means I will still be able to move later. Another challenge that no one talks about is fear. Yes, fear. The fear of falling. The fear of hurting yourself. The fear of looking foolish. When I first started exercising again, I worried about all of these things. What if I lost my balance? What if I pulled something? What if people saw me struggling? But you know what I realized? The real danger was doing nothing. The real danger was letting fear stop me from trying. I decided that I would rather struggle and get stronger than sit and get weaker. And once I made that decision, everything changed. One of the hardest parts of all this is energy. Or rather, the lack of it. I remember a time when I could go all day without feeling tired. But now, some days, just getting through the morning feels like a challenge. And when you are tired, the last thing you want to do is exercise. I get it. I really do. But here is the strange thing. The more I move, the more energy I have. It sounds backwards, but it is true. When I started walking more, lifting things, and doing small exercises, I actually felt less tired. It was like my body woke up again. Like it remembered what it was built to do. Another thing that makes this tough is motivation. Some days, you just do not feel like it. Maybe you did not sleep well. Maybe you are feeling down. Maybe you think it is too late to make a difference. But let me tell you something. It is never too late. I have seen people in their 80s and 90s get stronger just by making small changes. I have felt it in my own body. And I remind myself every day that the effort I put in now is for my future self. For the version of me that still wants to live life fully. That still wants to pick up my grandkids. That still wants to go places without help. And let's not forget about nutrition. No one tells you how important food is when it comes to keeping muscle. I used to think that just exercising was enough. But I learned the hard way that without the right food, my body had nothing to rebuild with. Protein. That is the key. Eggs. Chicken. Beans. Nuts. Whatever works for you. But you have to give your muscles something to grow with. I noticed a huge difference once I started paying attention to what I was eating. My strength improved. My energy improved. Even my mood improved. Another challenge is balance. I am not just talking about physical balance. Though that is important too. I mean finding the right balance between pushing yourself and not overdoing it. When I first started, I made the mistake of doing too much too soon. I ended up sore, frustrated, and almost gave up. But then I learned to pace myself, to listen to my body, to challenge myself without hurting myself. That is a hard balance to find. But once you do, everything gets easier. One thing that makes this journey even harder is the way people look at aging. Too many people think that weakness is just part of getting older. That losing muscle is normal. That struggling to move is just the way things go. But that is not true. I have met people my age who are still strong, still active, still living life on their own terms. And you know what they all have in common? They did not accept weakness as inevitable. They fought back. They moved. They exercised. They took care of themselves. And because of that, they stayed independent. And that is what it all comes down to. Independence. That is the real reason I fight to keep my muscle. Not to look strong. Not to impress anyone. But to keep my freedom. To make sure I can take care of myself for as long as possible. Because the alternative? Relying on others for everything? That is not the life I want. And I know I am not alone in that. So yes, there are challenges. Many of them. But every challenge has a solution. Patience for slow progress. Movement for stiffness. Courage for fear. Consistency for low energy. Motivation for the hard days. Proper food for strength. Balance for steady progress. And the belief that it is never too late to fight for your body. I have been on both sides. I have felt weak. And I have felt strong. And let me tell you, strength feels a whole lot better. What are the most common mistakes people over 70 make when trying to exercise? I have seen it happen many times. A person decides they want to get stronger, move better, and feel younger, so they start exercising. That is a good thing. A great thing. But then, somewhere along the way, they make mistakes. Not little mistakes. Big ones. The kind that stop progress. The kind that lead to frustration. Or worse. Injury. I know this because I have made these mistakes myself. And I have learned from them. One of the biggest mistakes is doing too much too soon. When we were young, we could push our bodies without thinking twice. We could lift heavy things, run fast, and wake up the next day feeling just fine. But now, our bodies do not recover the same way. Jumping into an intense workout without easing into it is asking for trouble. I have done it myself. I have woken up the next day so sore that I could barely move. That soreness did not make me feel accomplished. It made me feel discouraged. I learned that slow and steady is the way to go. The key is to build strength gradually. One step at a time. One day at a time. Another mistake I have seen is ignoring pain. There is a difference between discomfort and pain. Discomfort means your muscles are working. Pain means something is wrong. But some people think they have to push through pain. That is how injuries happen. I once ignored a sharp pain in my knee because I did not want to stop my workout. That decision cost me weeks of recovery. Now I listen to my body. If something feels off, I stop. I adjust. I find another way to move. Because the goal is not to break the body. It is to strengthen it. Some people make the mistake of focusing only on one type of exercise. Maybe they only walk, or only lift weights, or only stretch. But real strength, real balance, real health, that comes from a combination. Walking is great for the heart, but it will not keep your muscles strong. Lifting weights is great for strength, but it will not keep you flexible. Stretching is great for mobility, but it will not improve endurance. The body needs all of it. A little bit of everything. That is the secret. I have also seen people forget about balance. Not just in life, but in movement. Balance is something you do not think about until you lose it. And when you lose it, that is when falls happen. And falls, they can change everything. I have known strong men who lifted weights but never worked on balance. And one fall, just one, took away their independence. That is why I make sure to practice balance every day. Standing on one leg while I brush my teeth. Walking heel to toe across the room. Small things, but they make a big difference. One of the most dangerous mistakes is skipping the warm-up. When we were young, we could jump into activity without thinking. But now, our muscles need time to wake up, to loosen up. Skipping a warm-up is like trying to bend a dry branch. It snaps, but if you take your time, move gently, get the blood flowing, everything works better. A few minutes of stretching, a slow walk before picking up weights. That is all it takes. It is a small step that prevents big problems. Another mistake is holding the breath. It sounds simple. Breathe in, breathe out. But when people lift something heavy, or try something challenging, they hold their breath without realizing it. I have done it. And every time, I feel lightheaded. Breathing is what keeps the muscles working. It is what keeps the body moving. I remind myself to exhale when I lift, to inhale when I lower. A steady rhythm. That is what keeps everything running smoothly. Some people think they are too old to lift weights. That is a mistake. Muscle loss is not just part of aging. It is part of not using the muscles. I used to believe that lifting weights was for younger people, that it was dangerous for someone my age. But I was wrong. I started with light weights. Then I got stronger. And stronger. And before I knew it, things that used to feel heavy, bags of groceries, a chair, my own body weight, they started feeling lighter. That is the power of strength training. It does not just make you stronger. It makes life easier. One of the saddest mistakes I see is giving up too soon. I understand why it happens. Progress is slow. The body is stiff. The energy is low. But giving up, that is the only way to fail. I have had days where I felt like my efforts were not making a difference. But I kept going. And then one day I noticed. I could stand up without using my hands. I could carry something heavy without strain. I could walk longer without feeling tired. The changes happen. But only if you keep showing up. Another mistake is thinking it is too late. That is the biggest lie of all. I have met people who started exercising in their 70s, in their 80s, and they got stronger. They felt better. They moved better. The body does not care how old you are. It only cares that you use it. Muscles do not stop growing just because we age. They stop growing when we stop using them. The moment you start, that is the moment you start getting better. And then there is the mistake of doing it alone. I used to think I could do everything myself. But I learned that having support makes all the difference. Whether it is a friend, a trainer, a group at the local gym. Having people to encourage you, to correct your form, to remind you why you started. That is powerful. It keeps you going. It makes the journey less lonely. One mistake that can ruin everything is ignoring recovery. Exercise breaks the muscles down. Rest builds them back up. Sleep, good food, stretching. Those things matter just as much as the workout itself. I used to think that pushing myself every day would get me stronger faster. But all it got me was exhausted. Now I respect rest days. I eat protein. I drink water. I let my body recover. And because of that, I get stronger instead of burned out. The last mistake, the biggest mistake, is not starting at all. Fear, doubt, excuses, they keep people stuck. But the only way to get stronger is to begin. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be much. Just start. Stand up a little more each day. Walk a little farther. Lift something light. And then something heavier. The body is waiting. It is ready. The only thing left to do is move. If you liked today's discussion, don't forget to like the video, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to stay updated with every video we release. And yes, don't forget to share your experiences and thoughts in the comments. Every comment is special to us. Your feedback helps us improve further. We'll continue to meet you in every new video on this channel, so until next time, take care.